patience as we get things set up. Just bear with us here for a couple minutes while we get ready to do some mic checking, as we're having a little bit of problems, but we'll get everything fixed up here momentarily. So I just need to pull the stream up on my end, and we will have things go on. So I'm going to start with you, Yami. Make sure you guys' audio is on. Do a check 1 2 3. We'll check 1 2 3.
Check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3.
And Bobberts.
Check 1 2 3.
We are good to go. We are good to go. All right, so we got it all fixed up and ready to go. It had to have been the party situation. I don't know why it does that. We are waiting on SSR Inc. right now, so just stay tuned. Yankee will not be making it today, so very unfortunate. As Yankee had some good cars the last couple weeks, and we obviously know race 2 of week 1 was a little bit rough. We also know the situation for that, so we aren't going to bring that up, but very going to miss him. We are waiting for SSR Inc. right now. We're going to give Inc. a few tries to get in here, and we're going to get down to the grid order here as we get ready for the pace lap of the event, and I will let you know here once this pulls up. All right, so starting on the pole position, SQD GG Racing, as he's been a force to reckon with all season long. Right next to him is going to be LMP Amoeba. As Bobber said, he's going to be the guy that probably is going to be the only one that could take him out, or not take him out literally, but get him and nudge him at the end of the race.
He could do that as well, though. You never know.
You never know. That is true. There are 2 races, so we'll have to see. In the second row, it will be Diamond Man and LMP Crispy. Right behind them is SSR Outlaw and SSR Markey. SSR Star-Lord is with us, and he's been quiet lately, and I didn't even realize he was in there, but he'll be alongside SSR Numi, DOR Stroll, LMP Ranger, who's not with us, so it'll be DRR Stroll, SMX Savitar, and then SMX Sensei Renee, and then AJ's not going to be here, and then SSR Uranium, and then rounding out the field will be, well, I don't remember because they aren't on the sheet, because they showed up without qualifying.
and SSR.
Thank you. So, that being said, there are 13 drivers. So, again, the top 11 do get reversed. So, if you're Alerty and if you're Inc., you need to do everything you can throughout the field. And before we get going racing here, guys, I'm glad to have you here once again. I know everyone else, I'm sure, at home is watching is glad to have you guys here. It's always a pleasure. Glad to have you, Yam, in your first week with us in the commentating booth. And here we go. So it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I think this is going to be an interesting race. You know, we got pretty much the same amount of drivers in the field once again. And who I'm going to sit on to start this race will be LMP Amoeba. As we go out through the race, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have inside reports throughout every position on the racetrack. Bobberts and Yam, you're going to be keeping eyes on the rear of the field. I'll keep an eye on the front of the pack, and we'll check in from the drivers from time to time to see how they're doing in both of these races. And 13 drivers, really looking good. Gigi's doing a little bit of drifting, thinking it's fun. Nothing wrong with that.
It seems to me that we've already lost Savitar again. And we have.
We need to restart the race. So Outlaw should be back.
I wonder, because of
Savitar back unless
it's
Savitar says
possible they may have already agreed. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Because obviously he has had a few connection issues. He's been in and out of the lobby a few times as it is, so perhaps he may rejoin for the second race. He might try his internet connection, but he's allowed them to go ahead for this first race. But here we go.
And green flag is about to drop, and here we go. 20 laps of race number 1. And green, green, green. Here we go. GG to lead the field in lap number 1 here at Yas Marina. And there's LMP Crispy already to the inside of Amoeba, side by side, going into turn 1. As they go up through the S section here in turn 3, Crispy gets to the underneath. Amoeba got too close to the outside line, slowed down his truck, and he's lost in the position. He's got another driver right behind him. That's SSR Outlaw, SSR Starler as they come up through the field. Markey has dropped back in position, and we will get an inside report.
Someone's gone off.
And what just happened?
Someone's just got... Who was that? Someone's just gone off. That is Diastro. I think he just got sideways or something. An outlaw as well, so they had it coming together.
And so that is very unfortunate. Yami, what are you seeing from your eyes' point of view back there?
Well, as soon as the race started, pretty much Ink is really far back from the pack. He came to a complete stop. I don't know if maybe his controller died or something. But yeah, as of right now, though, I see DOR Stroll and Outlaw right now are fighting each other.
And one thing you did say, Steve, was that you were looking on alert. He's already made his way into 8th place.
So a couple of situational moments have already happened in this first lap of the race. As you know, like you said, Yami, Ink's way behind. Outlaw, some type of mistake. Renee's in the crapshoot section of the track where the car is going to slow down no matter what. And right now, Outlaw's in a really bad position, though he is on the 11th spot, which is a good spot to be. But right now, in the points hunt, you got to get up through that field. And Bobbers, who are you on right now? What are you seeing from your end?
Well, I can see that obviously the front 3 have got away. Then there's another group of 4 cars together. It's being led by Starlaw from Markey and Uranium onto the inside of Diamond through the hotel section, and he hooks Diamond Man on the inside. So SSR running 4, 5 and 6 as the Uranium gets to the back of that train, and Diamond Man drops yet another position.
Riding on with SSR Markey right now. Starlord's getting up through the field, and Starlord, we saw in week number 1, Bobbers, that Starlord was really, really strong in race 1 and in race 2. Last week he was struggling, but he's looking solid as race number 1 of week 3 is kind of doing well for him in his favor, and he's running currently in that 4th spot.
He is indeed. I mean, he's capitalised on the slow start from other people, everybody else bumping and banging and getting in each other's way. And he's taking full advantage of it. He's leading that little SSR train and Danman on the back of it, but out in front you can see that Gigi is actually pulling away from the 2 LMP drivers, and Crispy and Amoeba, who may have had a game plan, but if they did have a game plan to get ahead, so far, it's not working.
So far we've seen a couple of really interesting things happen in this first few laps of this race. And right now, Crispy and Amoeba are battling for that 2nd spot. And I think Amoeba might have the stronger car, but he told us before the race, guys, it's really hard to pass in these trucks, and it seems to be just that as Amoeba loses a little bit of momentum coming off the corner, and Crispy got a nice run going into turn 1.
Uranium is all over the back of Markey bumper. He's going to have a look into turn 1. The answer is no. Markey had a little bit of a rough section coming out the Hotel Stadium section, but he's managed to hold off Uranium. But Starlord's pulled a couple of truck lengths over them, but they seem to be dropping Diamond Man ever so slowly. So Diamond Man started P3, I believe. He's fallen back.
And I think what happened, guys, was Diamond Man and Outlaw must have had an issue because they were both up to the front. And Yami, I know you talked about that. Did you happen to see what happened between Diamond Man and Outlaw at that point of the race?
Unfortunately, no. They missed out on what happened. All I managed to catch was Outlaw coming back on the track.
And from your end, what are you seeing, and what's jumping out at you so far in these first few laps here at Yaz?
Well, right now I'm looking at Markey, Uranium, and Diamond Man battling right now. Diamond Man is just trying extremely hard to keep up, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like a pretty even match so far between these 3 guys. Oh,
and
Markey just made a mistake, and oh, here we go.
And Markey, like you said, made that mistake. He got too close to the blue on that turn there. And you know, guys, here at Yaz, you catch that side of the track, it's going to slow your any vehicle down. And it literally what just happened to Markey. Fortunately, he didn't lose the position, but now he's under fire. Side by side, Markey and Uranium going into turn, whatever number that is. I don't know the numbers for these tracks. And Uranium to the outside now of Markey. Markey trying to hold on to the inside, side by side, bumping and banging. Diamond Man on the back bumper of both of those drivers. Diamond Man looks to the inside of Uranium now, side by side, coming out of the corner. Uranium.
Just quickly nutting further back, Outlaws actually made his way past Alert. He's back up into 9th.
And Outlaw right there, sitting alone. He's going to have to try to catch up to his teammate, SSR Numi. And Numi, another guy that's kind of been, steady, but hasn't had the runs he's won all season long, guys. And Numi, kind of by himself, so he gets a chance to get himself into a groove. But he's got a long ways to go if he wants to get inside that top 5.
But the race is still young. We're not quite a third of the way in. We'll be a third of the way into this race, including pace lap after the lap. And out in front, GD has got about 2.5-second lead over the LMP guys, who seem to be settling. They've got a pace going in. They're pulling away from the group behind. Starlock, in fact, he's actually pulled away, obviously, from the 3 behind him. So he's kind of on his own lonesome now as Uranium continues to try and find a way past Marky.
And right now, Marky's just holding on to the inside of the racetrack. He's making these guys work really, really hard. And look at that! Oh, Uranium gets to the inside of Marky, clips him. Marky has to hold on to the... Oh my, they are side by side, bumping and banging. And this is the stuff we were talking about. And Yami, you've had firsthand experience with these trucks, and these guys are holding on to the vehicle. But is it that easy when you guys are that close?
It's having a little bump here and there. It actually helps stabilize the car. So it does become a little easier to control it.
So we are
Seems like Ink is having a little fun back here.
Ink's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
It looks like he's having a few issues, but he's still there.
And here we go,
Oh,
side by side, Marky to the inside of Uranium. Uranium tries to pull the outside move. Oh, but they overshoot the corner. Diamond Man gets an opportunity to get to the outside. 3 wide going around the corner. And they're still 3 wide going into the next spot. Here they go, Diamond Man to the outside of Marky. Uranium gets that position right off Marky. Diamond Man, Marky still side by side coming off the edge. And Diamond Man to the inside. Marky trying to hold on to his position. Diamond Man has to hit the brakes just a little bit there. Marky goes in hot. That gives Uranium the opportunity to get away from those guys. And Bobberts, that was just the opportunity that he needed.
It certainly was. Just a little bit of a mistake there from Mark, and Uranium fully capitalized on it. So maybe Marky was causing that little train to begin with as they were all clustered together, and now both, obviously, Starlord's got away. Uranium now has a chance to get away, and Diamond Man is the next man to tip Marky off his list.
And what a big opportunity there for SSR Uranium. They went 3 wide. Uranium went down to the inside of Marky. Marky and him both collided into this section of the racetrack, which ended up giving Diamond Man the opportunity to go to the outside. And here's Marky again, trying to do the same thing that Uranium did, but doesn't have the run to do it.
Oh, just saw a little switch there between Outlaw and Numi. Don't know if Numi made a mistake, but Outlaw is now ahead of SSR Numi, and he's actually closing in on this pack. He's got a chance to get there. Still got more than half of the race to go. I think he can catch that group.
And there's SSR Outlaw right there on our screen. You see Numi right behind him and the pack of Wolves right in front of them. So we'll keep an eye on Outlaw, but let's get back onto that battle between 5th, 6th, and 7th right now. We thought that possibly Uranium was going to get out front further from Marky and Diamond Man, but these two have kept up with Uranium since the issue.
He's pulled out a few lengths here or there, but it's perhaps not as much as we thought. And obviously, Marky will get that so-called slipstream to try and close back in. But obviously, they're each going to have strengths and weaknesses on this track. And Marky had a really good run through the little chicane section. It's not really classed as a chicane. It's got 3 corners in it, so it's not a chicane. But I'm going to call it that anyway. And Diamond Man seems to have lost a few. So in fact, this is a little bit. But, all it takes is one little mistake.
And Starlord, he's right there in front of them. Now, Starlord got away from these guys after passing Marky, but it looks like the 3 amigos here, the 3 musketeers, better yet said, they're actually catching up to Starlord. And how much I have to ask you, Yam, because you've been in these trucks, does the draft really help in these vehicles?
Not really. No, not at all.
You don't think that this could possibly be the reason why they're able to catch him on the straights?
No. I noticed that when I was racing on race 2, I did notice that shifting at different RPM points does give you an advantage. So maybe it's just they're all shifting at a different point.
One thing I'm definitely witnessing is the different styles as well. Oh, Marky goes really high. That invites Diamond Man up the inside into that 93 left hand. He's got the run. Marky's trying to stretch it out on the outside, but no, that mistake's cost him a position. Diamond Man up into 6th.
And Diamond Man made easy work of Marky after having that mistake. That also gave Uranium the opportunity to get even further out front. And now Uranium's looking to hit the heels of Star-Lord there, and Star-Lord right in front. He's just trying to stay in that position. We know that Star-Lord has a good car. We know that he can drive this truck. He saw in week 1 he went from 21st to 10th, and he made light work of it in race 2 to finish 5th after having a couple of mistakes. So Star-Lord in that position now that he might be getting tapped on the rear panel from Uranium, but we'll have to see as we are down to the last remaining laps of this race.
Lucky and DOR Stroll are still going at it for P10 and 11. This is bragging rights for who starts. Well, it's going to be obviously for reverse grid. Oh, Stroll hits the barrier on the inside. That's not the best line through, and somehow he's actually stayed ahead of Alerty. I don't know how, but Alerty's got the cutback. These two have been duking it out all race.
And let's get on that right now as we appreciate the follow, Delta Racing. As here we go, Stroll to the outside, Alerty to the inside, but he overshoots the corner. Stroll does the undercut. He gets back in that 10th spot. Alerty hits the blue stuff, and that just slows him down.
And he tried to gain some of that time back. I was going to say earlier before Marky was about to lose his position, it's interesting to see the different lines that people are taking and what they think is the best line to take through all these different corners, especially into the heavy braking zones. And the contrast was different from Uranium to Marky. They both had completely different lines going into the first little slalom section. Obviously, Alerty showed that, with no disrespect, how it's not done. But Diamond Man, as I can see, is pulling away from Marky. That group seems to have split a little bit. And oh, I missed this. Amoeba's got ahead of Crispy off screen.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Crispy made a minor mistake, kind of slipped the rear end and he clipped the wall. Obviously, in this game, when you clip the wall, you stay in it for too long, it slows you down, and that pretty much gave Amoeba the opportunity to take his position back. But they were fighting for a good minute.
And Amoeba, you know, he's been telling us, you know, this season how difficult these were to drive, and you know, before this race started, we even asked him how tough these trucks were to pass, and really your best opportunity to make passes is when everyone makes a mistake, because it seems to be really difficult. If you hold on to that inside line, there's really no line for you to get around them.
Oh, Marky once again hot on the heels of time. Again, this is showing the different contrasts and styles and braking zones and how they think it's best to take this circuit. But no, I couldn't agree with you more, Steve, actually. You know, but yes, as Yami all know fine well after driving these last week, these trucks are very hard. You know, you are literally banking on your opponent to make a mistake so you can capitalise. And obviously, Marky's been accustomed to that, because obviously he's lost a position or two as a result of these little mistakes. And just looking at the background, you know, Outlaw, I thought he was gaining quite a bit initially, but it doesn't seem to be at the moment. I mean, I actually think that gap's sort of stabilised. He's pulled away from Numi.
Diamond Man, big mistake.
Really loose.
And Diamond Man hit the brakes hard. Marky to the inside, side by side. Marky to the outside of Diamond Man. He's still side by side, clips the rear quarter panel of Marky now. There's Outlaw in the distance, hoping to pounce on the opportunity here. Marky, Diamond Man side by side, coming off of the corner now. And Diamond Man trying to maintain it. They bump and they bang, and they're still bumping and banging. Marky gets to the inside of him. Diamond Man looks back to the inside of Marky. They're side by side again. And I don't know who's coming out of this, but it seems like they're still bumping and banging.
Side by side. Oh!
And Marky hangs on to the car. Meanwhile, here comes SSR Outlaw to join the fun.
Make us a nice little three-way battle once again. But this just shows with them duking out on the mistakes they're both making that Uranium style have gone. They have got an Outlaw, as you said. He's now in this party. It's a three-way battle again.
And Uranium is gone, and he is nowhere to be found. And there's Marky and Outlaw battling for that 7th spot. Now, if you're Outlaw, how aggressive do you get here?
obviously it's a teammate, so you want to be a little bit more conservative as he completely misses the apex there. What is it? It's a really difficult corner actually. It looks simple, but it's quite difficult. But at the same time, he wants to capitalise on the mistakes that he had obviously on lap 1 and get as many points as possible. But you got to think, do you finish where you are and get the better start grid for the reverse grid, or do you want to get the higher points in the first race and then, I guess, do a little bit more work in race 2? I mean, Yami, obviously you've raced this. What would you rather do?
Not exactly sure, to be honest.
To the inside of Markey. Outlaw will take over that 7th spot for Markey. And Outlaw's just, he's picking up the opportunities there, but he makes a mistake. Markey gets the run through the S section. And he'll retake the 7th spot back. And Yami, you talk about these trucks, and they're so difficult to drive. I feel in this scenario, you might want to be, at this point in race number 1, and this is just coming from me, I might want to just lay off a little bit because I know in race 2, I'm going to be closer to the front to start race 2. Now, at this point of the race, how much can you get? Because if you're Outlaw and Markey right now, how hard do you race? How hard do you continue to try to get back up the diamond, get another opportunity? Maybe the points matter to you, but if you are that driver, don't you think that maybe just laying off and saying, you know what, there's only a few laps left, there's not a lot to gain from this place out, I want to start closer to the front?
Yes. Now, once it comes to the ending of the race, you're pretty much just better off just slowing it down and just maintaining your position. There's no point in trying to go for a risky play to gain 1 or 2 positions, because there's obviously a 50-50 chance. If it fails, you might lose 1, and if you make it, then it's a bonus. But at this point, yeah, it's just better off to just keep your position and take the advantage when the reverse grid comes in, considering you're starting up in the front.
And as the race starts coming down to an end, Amoeba is actually starting to get away from Crispy just a little bit, not a whole lot, but it shows that Amoeba did have the better car starting this race. He just had to work hard to get around his teammate Crispy, and Crispy has been putting on a good performance every week as well. So these guys are going to be starting in the back with Gigi, who pretty much had checked out. He's currently going into turn number 1 as we ride with Gigi here. And guys, I don't know if there's anybody that's going to get this guy. I mean, Gigi's running amazing.
Oh, Markey! Sorry, Steve, to cut across you. Markey he was side by side with Outlaw for the best part of half a lap, and coming into the last corner, and he just completely turned it too early. He's hit the barrier, and he's now lost a place to Numi as a result. So Markey's down into 9th.
And that's why you never give up, ladies and gentlemen. Because that opportunity that mistake gave Numi the opportunity to go by for another position, and obviously Numi was running by himself, so I'm sure that felt good for Numi to realize, hey, somebody else. Whoa, Markey makes another mistake! He hits the wall!
He's having a few difficulties, he's Markey. I think he'd be glad to get this first race out of the way, regroup and come back for race number 2. But I just noticed actually Amoeba is closing that gap to Gigi. The gap was 6 seconds at one point. It's now dipped to just under 5, and Amoeba has the fastest lap of the race.
And Amoeba, you said it before the race began, Bobbers, that Amoeba is the one guy you think that can seal the deal. Now, obviously, unless Gigi makes a big mistake here at the end, it's going to be a big challenge for him in race number 2. But with the way that things are going, I don't know who could possibly win race 2, because it seems like everybody's having their own little, problems, and the only person that hasn't had a big deal was Gigi, Star-Lord. Those two have been pretty much running their own race by themselves, and quite frankly, guys, based off of what we're seeing here, is there anybody in the field that's going to be able to take Gigi on in race number 2? Because right now, I think he has the most consistent car in this race.
Definitely. I mean, I have to think, though, that maybe Amoeba, as you said, had the faster stroke. He was perhaps faster than Crispy's staying with him now. There's no doubt about that. Crispy's now staying with Amoeba. Perhaps he's seeing lines and has been able to quicken his pace, but perhaps Amoeba is the overall quicker driver between the two. So maybe if Amoeba was in front to begin with initially, they may have been close, they've been able to put a bit more pressure on Gigi. But obviously, with now only 2 laps to go as Gigi starts his penultimate lap, obviously it's all a bit too little too late now. But coming to race 2, where we have that reverse grid, they start in front, they can hold him up.
See there on the race map, and you can see how gapped so many people are in this race. There's only a couple of drivers, which is basically Amoeba and Crispy right now near one another. And the back two of Alerty and Stroll there, or I'm sorry, Alerty and Sensei Renee, that's the battle on the racetrack that's going on right now. Let's get on that real quick.
Actually. It's actually
Oh, sorry, it's Ink.
We have Ink and Renee fighting it out here.
Yes. Ink trying to go around the outside.
And Yami, why don't you take it from here, because you've been keeping an eye on this battle between these two drivers. Renee hit the wall!
Renee, he just hit the wall. Oh no.
And just like that, that battle is over. But
that battle's gone.
Now,
and there's
the top
Gigi.
two guys have pretty much lapped already.
And Gigi with the white flag in the air this time. And Gigi looking to steal race number 1. And this is going to be interesting to see.
One thing I keep an eye on, Steve, is P6 and 7. Outlaws caught up to Diamond Man. He's only about 100 feet or less behind him now. He's caught up significantly these last few laps. He's got a chance on this last lap to take P6.
And there's Outlaw right there on the rear bumper of Diamond Man 2014. An opportunity for Outlaw to get some more points here. You know Outlaw right now is looking for points and obviously in need of them after last week not being here for the event. And Outlaw working really hard right now. He's worked really hard, guys, since the beginning of the race. He's made his way back up through the field. And here he is trying to get 6th away from Diamond Man. And I'm not sure if he's going to get him here. It looks like there's not enough track left. Unless he can get to the bumper here, I think maybe. But GG Racing, he's coming across the line. And GG Racing will take race number 1 with Amoeba and Crispy right behind him. And then we got Star-Lord in 4th. 5th will be Uranium. 6th and 7th will be Diamond Man and Outlaw. And then there's a battle for 8th and 9th right now as Marky's caught right back up to Numi, but he just doesn't have enough there. And Numi will be able to come across the line in 8th. Marky will be 9th. And Marky worked real hard there at the end, guys, to try to get there. And here's DOR Stroll. He's going to finish 10th. 11th they should finish 10th and 11th between Stroll and Alerty. And then rounding out the field will be Ink and then Sensei Renee. So not a very eventful race number 1, guys, but nonetheless, it was very interesting to watch. And, well, we'll have to see what happens in race number 2. And I believe a couple of the drivers will be joining the second race, so we might have a bigger field. I did hear that BDF 48 Gaming was having to miss race 1, so we should see him in race number 2, guys.
That'd be great to see, because obviously BDF 48 Gaming he did actually initially qualify, I believe, in 4th, 5th? I can't remember exactly off the top of my head.
And he's going to have to start last.
The driver up towards the front. Obviously, that's an unfortunate thing. But if you put it this way, he's not starting that far off the guys who initially finished in the front of this race.
And that's a wrap for race number 1. And, you know, there he goes. Okay, I was waiting for it to go. All right, so that's race number 1 out of the way. And we are going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break for race number 2. We're going to get some of the drivers that we're going to try to get Savitar back in here after his lag out. And see if he's going to make the race or not. Who knows? And then we're going to try to get a couple of the other guys in here. So just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. We are waiting to get things started for race number 2. And Bobberts and Yami, what can we take away from race number 1?
I think the first thing is, obviously, it was a very dominant performance from GG Racing. Obviously, he led from the front, foot rock. So obviously, he's done a very good job there. And, you know, he led from the front and he did what he needed to do. The LMP guys did what they could. Obviously, they had their own little battle, I guess you could say. Obviously, Amoeba came out on top on that. And obviously, we had a good little midfield battle there, obviously, between the SSR guys, obviously, with Diamond Man in amongst there as well. So there was actually, there was a fair bit of action, you know, no matter where you looked. But I think the standout for me was how loose Marky was from time to time with his back end.
And Yami?
No comment.
All right, well then we'll get ready for race number 2. And guys, what should we expect in race number 2?
Oh, Sabotage, unfortunately, lagged out again. I managed to get him back in, but he's... Unfortunately, I think he's having a few connection issues. But in terms of race 2, obviously it's going to be a completely different kettle of fish here. Obviously, we've got the reverse grid, obviously basing it off the top 11. Obviously, so Alert, he will start at that pole position. As to what he can do from there, how long can he hold on to that lead, I'm not too sure. Obviously, Gigi will start P11. I do expect him and the guys who finished towards the LMP guys of Amoeba and Crispy to make their way through the field. However, I don't think Amoeba's had the best run when the reverse grid has come into play. He's not had the best of races when that's happened. So hopefully, for his sake, it changes tonight.
And Yami, what should some of these drivers that were up front at the end of race 1 think about that? My mic cut out because I pulled the cord. Look,
you cut out Steve completely.
Yes, I know. But anyways, Yami, going to you here. Going from race 1 to race number 2, and obviously you were in that situation last week. What mental preparation and what should these guys that were up front expect coming from in the back of the field in race number 2, and what would you do being them going into the second race coming from behind?
Well, most of all is pretty much, obviously the top 3 guys had a really good, consistent run. They didn't make too many mistakes compared to a lot of the people within the mid-pack to the back of the pack. So I just feel that in order for them to get through the grid is to pretty much just run a safe pace and obviously just take advantage of the mistakes that everybody else is going to be doing. Obviously, they have the pace and consistency, so it just comes to taking the advantage, pretty much.
Roberts, how about you?
I feel like it'll be a really good battle to watch, watching these 3 guys get through the pack. Obviously, LMP Amoeba and Crispy actually ran a really good race behind each other on the first race.
And I agree, it's going to be very interesting to see how these 3 drivers that were up front, Amoeba, Crispy, and Gigi, come up through the field, because you know a couple of those guys that didn't have a really good run, like SSR Markey, is back in another good position going into the second race and possibly another chance to win in his second week for a win. But Boberts, I'm going to ask you the same question as well. What would you do? What should you expect coming from behind?
Well, obviously, as Gigi's proven, obviously he's won the first race, obviously on a couple of occasions now, and obviously in round 1, it was a little bit difficult for him initially to begin with, but obviously he managed to recover to 3rd place and actually was very close to getting towards the front 2 of Outlaw and I can't remember who was 2nd place, unfortunately, so my apologies for that. And obviously in week 2 he had a good run again to recover coming up through the field. Again, I think getting another podium finish. So I expect the same, at least from Gigi. I think he does really well to avoid some of the incidents. Obviously, that's the main thing, is incidents. But there are a lot of runoff areas here. There's literally just that not tyre barrier, but that little wall barrier, whatever you want to call it, the last corner. This week to come back.
And I have to ask, guys, and if you haven't noticed, we're going to nighttime, fellas. We went from the daylight into the evening. Well, the nightfall, and
it's a nice little touch.
And Yami, you know, going from day to night, what's the biggest difference for these trucks? You think? Is there any difference in the tire wear? Is there any difference with the speed? You know, with the cooler air? What's your thoughts on that?
It's gonna have a huge effect on the amount of grip that they have on their tires. Obviously, during the day, your tires, they heat up to a temperature a lot quicker, and they maintain that temperature, so you can gain a lot more grip. Your tires won't spin as much. It'll be a lot easier to get in and out of corners. Obviously, at nighttime, you don't have that same amount of grip. Obviously, your tires are cold, So I expect a lot of struggle coming out of corners on a side-by-side battles and stuff like that. Especially when you have to take an extremely tight angle entry when you're fighting another opponent.
And obviously, you know, that is going to be something to keep an eye on for many of these guys. How do they adapt to the changes of the track? And Roberts, I know you're a guy that adjusts kind of well to most situations. For you, if you were in their situation, how would you approach going into race number 2 in these conditions?
Well, obviously, the tough thing is with this track, obviously, circuit being based in Abu Dhabi, obviously, it is actually faster at night time than it is during the day, so we could actually see some faster lap times, potentially, you know, don't quote me on it, but hopefully. The main thing really I just want to see from these guys is it's just a good, fair, clean race. Obviously see some good action as we have been doing a lot of the time on these reverse grids, and who knows, obviously anything can happen.
It looks like the guys are ready to start race number 2. We got BDF
We are
40 Gaming.
waiting. Is BDF, is he in?
You need to spectate, Roberts. And we got...
He is, yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't know if he joined in.
Did Savitar make it back?
Sorry.
Yeah, he was in here. Let's try him one more time. We'll try to get Savitar back in the mix of things before they hit the go-to button. And he's not going to make the call, it looks like. They're just going to go without him. So, unfortunate, the internet connection for him is not going as planned. And it looks like he's going to miss race 2. But he will get his respected points because he was here at the show. So, we will be happy to have him next week. Hopefully things will get better. And Savitar is one of those guys that run really consistent races. It's just unfortunate as he does send us a message and stating that the internet is just a little bit rough tonight. So very tough luck for him.
It's obviously, he did qualify. He tried to put a lot of effort into this, and it is a shame that connection, whether if it's his or falls, does do this. But as you said, at least it's fair enough that he gets his retrospective points for being able to, or trying to take part at least. Hopefully he'll come back next week for the last races and have some fun.
And let's see here. So it looks like Alerty and Stroll are on the front row. So Alerty's going to start first. Second's going to be Stroll. Markey and Numi, they're in the second row. Right behind them in row number 3 is Outlaw and Diamond Man. Following that, row 4 is Uranium and Starlord. Then LMP Crispy, Amoeba, SQDGG Racing, SSR Inc., SMX Sensei Renee, and then BDF 48 Gaming. All right, well, that being said, it's going to be interesting, guys. I'm really interested to see how the start's going to go. What should we expect?
I said this last few weeks, carnage. You never know, will it? Expect the unexpected. That's all I'm going to say. Because anything could happen with this.
And here we go then. Trucks are coming around the final couple of corners. They're going to start doubling up here. DOR Stroll, Alerty. A battle of the ages for these two guys up front. And what is it going to take for them to steal a victory here today? Well, they're going to need to get consistent. They're going to need to keep their pace and hopefully not have to fend off too many fast guys from behind. But here we go. Race number 2 about to begin. Here we go. As they cross the stripe, it's Alerty and DOR Stroll to lead the field in race number 2 and green flag. Now here we go. Markey already to the inside of Stroll. Side by side going into the corner, but Stroll.
5 wide in the back. 5 wide in the back. Some people were sleeping.
And look at this. 3 wide. Coming off of corner number 3. And there's Stroll trying to take the race lead. Side by side with Alerty. And they're still side by side, but Stroll will take over that first spot, but Alerty's not done with him yet. He clips to the inside. Alerty's getting lose control, but he saves the car right in front of SSR Markey.
Oh my, Uranium slingshotting and dive bombing it inside of both Doobie and Markey, not Markey, Outlaw, sorry. And I don't think they would have liked that move from Uranium, but Markey actually leads this race.
And what a wild, look at them, 3, 4 wide back there. Still 3, 4 wide. Oh, but Alerty gets clipped to the rear quarter panel. Stroll. Numi to the inside. Oh, no, that's Outlaw. I'm sorry. Outlaw to the inside. I thought that was Numi. And just like that, Stroll is going backwards. He just lost 5 positions coming off the final corner, guys.
I think he may have clipped the inside wall or something. I'm not too sure. Oh, look at them at the back as well from 11 for BDF 48 game in the 3 and 4 wide at the back here as well. And BDF has managed to find his way up into 11th spot. No, he's not. Is he just lost that place to Sensei Renee? Yes, he has. Inks there. Crispy's had an awful start. He's now down to 14th.
And look at this, guys. This pack of like 6, 7, 8 drivers, 3, 4 wide. And I don't know if you guys at home are enjoying this, but this is really wild.
Yeah.
Look at these 5, 6, 7 cars side by side.
GG
Numi to the inside of
outside
GG. Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
Oh, GG loses control. He gets knocked out. He goes back to the rear of the pack. There's BDF 48 Gaming watching on. 4 wide, 5 wide.
And then this is a 5 wide. Oh my god, what is this? GG back on the inside and he gets back into.
And Numi says, I'm getting out of that, man.
Gone.
Numi got out of the pack and he says, I'm out of here, guys. And Yami, what are you seeing from all this?
I'm actually over here laughing at all this. This is crazy. This is so crazy.
Our Lord,
God,
Crispy, side by side, going through the S's. Ink goes to the inside. Sensei Renee for that 9th spot. The back of the pack still heating up here in race number 2 as we're only in the 3rd or 4th lap of this race. Still 3 wide coming off of the corner. Sensei Renee looks to the inside of LMP Amoeba, side by side as they go through the double right-hand section. I don't know the name of the track. I do apologize. SSR Inc. way wide. LMP Crispy to the inside of Inc. Inc. clips back across. Crispy clips the rear quarter panel of Inc.
How do you keep up with this? One thing I haven't seen, Amoeba got further up the field this time, but he must have had an incident because he's now obviously into 12th spot as he just overtakes Sensei Renee, I believe it is. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But Ink obviously leading this pack of few drivers in 9th spot.
And Alerty loses the car. GG to the inside. Sorry to cut you off there, Bobbers, but that was a big move by GG Racing.
Nope, you're perfectly fine. He's now at the front of this queue. He's obviously now going to try and chase down Diamond Man. But look at that gap the top 3 have got, which is Uranium 3rd, Outlaw 2nd, and Marky doing as he did last week, leading this race, but he has not got the same gap as what he did. But he does have his 2 SSR compatriots for close company. Is Uranium trying to go on the outside of Outlaw, gives him a little love tap going in towards the right-hander. Uranium, is he going to dive to the inside of his teammate? No, thinks better of it, pulls back in behind.
There's a, wow, you got this 3-car battle between the SSR boys. This mid-pack battle is still going on. Alerty in front of Numi right now. Ink lost some pace. There's still 2-3 wide behind them, though, with DOR Stroll in a mix of cars. And Alerty breaks loose with Numi and Ink. And this right behind them, LMP Crispy, DOR Stroll. And I'm not sure, but this is just wild, guys. What a beginning to a race.
Oh.
And Stroll.
I think gave Stroll a little bit of a tap there, and as a result he put Stroll into Crispy. Salon's obviously backed up, he's gone back to 12.
Side by side with Stroll, Crispy to the outside, going up through the S section now. He gets right in front of Stroll. Stroll sets back right along him, but he's got a little friend behind him as well. That's LMP Amoeba. Amoeba not getting the start of the race like you said, Bobberts. And Amoeba and Crispy have a long ways to go. Meanwhile, GG Racing has basically gotten through every bit of the carnage. There he is running in that 5th spot, looking to take out Diamond Man here very soon for that 4th spot. Not literally take him out. I need to use a different verbiage of words there because that just sounds horrible. And right behind them, Alerty and Numi still battling.
Inks just clipped the inside wall. I don't know how he's done that into the right hand, but he's clipped the inside wall, which took Crispy with him. And as a result, Amoeba's now in the head of this pack.
And we just can't keep up with her. There's stuff all over this racetrack right now, and this is just a lot to endure.
Marky has lost the pole position to Outlaw. And Outlaw it's actually increasing his gap right now.
He is streaking away.
Yes, he is just getting away right now.
Markey is battling with Uranium now for the second spot. And it looks like Outlaw made a little hiccup through the S section. That brought Markey back into the mist with Uranium. Right behind them, the battle between Gigi and Diamond Man has begun. Diamond Man looking to hold on to that inside line. Now Gigi looking to get it by him, but doesn't able to do it. Now they're back nose to tail. Gigi's trying to find a way to get that speed back in the gear here as he tries to get into the inside. Look at Gigi, a huge closer, big gap right there. Alerty and Numi still battling for that sixth spot behind them. Bobberts?
Well, I'm still looking at the back of this pack from 8th onwards, which is still together. Amoeba's starting to pull away from this, but Stroll now leads from 9th place. He's got Ink on the inside. I don't know if there was contact there, but Ink has got the inside, and then Crispy and Style on the side by side. It's 2 by 2 by 2. As Stroll takes the 9th spot back from SSR, and this back, the back of the pack is throwing up some great action here.
And Ink's been up and down in this race. I'm sure Ink's having a lot more fun than he was in race number 1, guys, because in race 1 he had to pull off for whatever reason. But he's in the fight, and he's making things happen. He's got Crispy right behind him. And look at this, Ink to the inside of Stroll, now to the outside. Stroll catches that little section that slows him down, loses 2 positions, 3 positions. Starlord had to go underneath him to avoid contact. BDF48 Gaming now right in the mix as well.
I think I might just stay with these guys. These guys are giving some great action. Obviously, we have to keep up the guys towards the,
and there's the race map.
But obviously, Amoeba's checked out now from this group. He's going to try and close in on Numi and Alerty. Because, Alerty, yes, even though he started on the pole, he's managed to keep away from this big group of cars behind. He's still running in 6th place, which would be a good result for him, I think. And
Outlaw is starting to get away from the field right now, and I'm not sure who's second. Yep, Marky's still running second, so nothing to worry there. GG Racing finally got around Diamond Man, so can GG catch up to the guys up front to get a win in race number 2? We'll have to see as he won race 1, but like you said, guys, this battle back here is really good, but look at this battle for the 6th spot. SSR Numi still working on Alerty, and Alerty, who started on the pole position, still fighting, still hanging in there, but Numi to the inside of Alerty now, trying to take over that 6th spot.
Tries to run Alerty out of road. Alerty's having absolutely none of it. Amoeba in the background is going to close down these two. And once again, Alerty shuts the door. Numi's probably getting a little frustrated being stuck behind Alerty here because he knows he's probably the faster driver.
Alerty's using that car, using the truck's body to keep Numi. Did Numi do the big move to the outside, though? He tries to take over the spot. Alerty tries to hold on to the inside line, still side by side. Amoeba getting right in the mix of on the back side of both of these drivers. Numi might have to back off. This side's not to. Holds on strong to the car, tries to do the undercut. Can he do it? Alerty way outside, and Numi will take over the spot. And Numi able to, oh wait, no, not just yet. They're still side by side battling, and look at this, coming across the stripe. Numi still holding on to the inside line. Amoeba's lost a little bit of ground, but Alerty trying to close the door, but not able to do it with Numi to the inside, still side by side. Numi gives a little bit of a body check there to say, hey buddy, I'm right here. He'll take over the 6th spot. Alerty still right there with him as Amoeba right on the tail end of the pack, and there's Ink and Crispy following suit.
So with these guys battling now, obviously the guys behind have stretched their legs a little bit, and this pack's going to cluster up again. I mean, Stroll, BDF Gaming, and Sensor Renee are having their own little battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th place, and then obviously we've got Starlord, Crispy, as you said, Ink now closing back in on Amoeba, Alerty, and News. We could have a 6-car battle again.
And it's so hard to get off this pack. And Yami, what are you seeing from your point of view?
Right now, I'm just focusing on GG Racing and Diamond Man. They're running a pretty steady race here, but GG and Diamond Man are catching up to the top guys right now. Question is, will they be able to make it in time to be able to get the passes before the end of this race is over?
And you make a good point there, Yami, as we cut down to the halfway point of the race. It's not like typical MEA Enduros where, it's about an hour to an hour and a half long. These races are short and quick, and you don't got a lot of time to develop a pace. You have to have the pace ASAP, especially when the reverse grid takes effect. So we'll definitely keep an eye on these guys, and we appreciate your take as it looks like the top 3 are still with one another. Marky's caught back up to Outlaw, so we might see a 3-car battle for the race lead. And like Yami said, Bobberts, GG Racing and Diamond Man are on the way.
3 wide! 3 wide again. Newbie's made a mistake. He's lost a place for Lurty once again. He got ahead. He's now behind, but we were 3 wide going into the right. And then there's still 2x2. It's the hotel section. These guys are just giving us a fantastic little battle here. Oh, well, Lurty coming across Numi there. That was a little bit rude, if you don't mind me saying so, but Numi seems to have retained. Oh, the beam was turned in too early, and he's hit the wall.
And a big accident. Ink's involved as well. We'll get back there and see how this unfolds. And look at this, 4, 5, 6 cars now back together because of that situation, Bobberts. Star-Lord hits the wall!
Star-Lord hits the wall. Oh dear, this is carnage. I said there'd be carnage, and I was right. For once, I was right.
What I had noticed about these reverse grids, guys, is it does give you some of the best racing, because obviously if you're a faster driver, you got to race a little bit differently when you catch up to the guys that are a little bit slower. And the way these trucks are unfolding, like Yami said, they're very difficult to pass on, and they're tough to drive. But when you use the body of the truck to try to maintain your pace, it helps out a little bit here. You got to wonder how many of these guys are using that method. And you said a little bit ago. Go ahead. What was happening?
Steve, sorry, it was side by side for the lead. Marky had a look on Outlaw, and Outlaw's managed to just stretch his legs. But Uranium's getting involved now. He's on the left-hand side of Marky for that 2nd place.
And Uranium
outdo his teammate into turn 1. Oh, he's outrunning himself. He's given Outlaw a little bit of a tap, but got away with it. Has he got ahead of Marky? He has.
It's a perfect opportunity for GG.
GG's closing in a rate of knots.
Very rapidly, yes, he is.
And Diamond Man's not too far there either.
Yes, these guys having the battle still side by side, I think, between Uranium and Marky. But Uranium's managed to just get a truck length in front, I should say, not a car length. These are trucks, obviously, not cars. But yes, there's GG, there's Diamond Man. It's the hotel section. We still have 7 and a bit laps to go here. Anything can happen.
Well, and you know, I'm going to go to Yami on this one. Yami, if you're Outlaw, Uranium, or Marky, and you know GG's on the way with this many laps to go, what would be going through your mind, and how would you be approaching this battle between these 3 guys?
Me, in my opinion, I would try to battle the least amount possible, and I would have saved up our pace and our battling for probably maybe the last 4 or 5 laps, because you gotta consider the more you battle, the easier it's gonna be for the people behind you to catch up. So,
and there goes GG to the inside. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Yami, but GG's already going to work. GG side by side with Marky to the outside. Marky gives him a little bit of a check to the body. GG cuts back in and says, "Hey, buddy, I'm right here with you." And here they go. Does GG hold on to the inside? He does. He holds that side where he needs to be. Side by side with Marky. GG holds the inside line and will take over the 3rd spot. Back to you, Yami.
Yeah. It's pretty much like pretty much in situations like this, when you have such a lead, such an incredible lead, and you know that the guy behind you is gonna catch you no matter what you do. I just feel like it's safer not to fight, especially when the top 3 guys in the front are all teammates.
And you know, Yami makes a great point there, Bobberts. And go ahead, Bobberts.
I was just going to say, we're 3 wide once again to the back of the field. There's more carnage.
And I just got on that 5-car battle.
The half a lap behind the leaders. This is short. Look, Numi's all on his own in 6th place now. And then you've got the front 5 have checked out. You've got Numi on his own. You've got these 5 all like half a lap down. And unfortunately, the guy at the back, which is Sente Rene, is not with anybody. But this is just bedlam.
I mean, look, it's like 6, 7 cars. I mean, at this point of the race, you're not really expecting it to be this way. And Ink's out of the carnage now, too, so you got to think if you're Ink, he's like, I got to get out of here, because BDF 48 Gaming to the inside, a crispy side by side, going in the double right-hander there.
both LMP guys have not had a good race. Gigi's obviously got through the carnage. He's up with the leaders into another podium paying position on the reverse grader once again. Both LMP drivers, and especially Amoeba once again, have lost out big time. He's in 12th place, and this guy qualified the third fastest actual qualifying time.
I'll hop back onto the front.
This just shows when you're in the...
I'm sorry, but Gigi's right on the rear end of Uranium now. As Bobbers, I'll let you go ahead and finish what you're going to say, but Gigi's right there.
So I was just going to quickly finish and say, it just shows that you can have all this pace, you could be one of the fastest, but if you cannot break away from the pack, you won't get anywhere. Estalo just makes a move on Crispy there. Crispy just completely destroying the corner as if it's not even there. And making up his own track by the looks of it.
And Marky's under fire.
GG.
Go ahead.
GG is on Uranium's bumper right now. Coming into the last turn. Let's see if he can be able to manage an outbreak at the turn 1. Let him make a dive on the inside here.
And meanwhile, that's going on. Diamond Man 2014 is going to try to challenge Marky for the 4th spot. Gigi to the inside of Uranium, side by side through the S's. So what happens here next? Is there enough time for Gigi Racing to try to get him to maintain a good spot in front of Uranium? But Uranium's still fighting back side by side. He's to the inside of Gigi now.
He's going to get him. Lovely move, Uranium. Lovely move. Gigi trying to cut the heart. Oh, there was no room there. Uranium shut the door on him. Oh, as Marky's just gone off wide in the background. I think Diamond Man's going to the 4th. No, not quite.
They're still battling back there. This is what Outlaw wants to see. He wants to see his teammate have to fend off the 2nd spot. So Gigi doesn't have enough time to get to him, but if Gigi, I'd have to say if Gigi can get by him this lap by, it's going to cut it really close depending on how much more pace Gigi might have over Outlaw. But we'll have to find out as we go back to the back of the pack again to check on the Whirly Bunch as they are finally in single file line, guys.
Not quite. You still got Stroll and Alerti who've been at it in the first race. At it again in race number 2. They're side by side, but unfortunately for 12th and 13th place.
I have to say, this has to be one of the more exciting races of the season. I mean, you're talking about there's stuff everywhere. I think it's been the most. Oh, for sure. I mean, we haven't seen racing like this. Race 1 was kind of dull, guys, but this race 2 has been really, really, really good. And
you can always count on the reverse grid.
It can, yeah, you definitely can. Marky has been passed by Diamond Man.
Oh no! Stroll hit the patch, he slows it down coming into turn 2. He locked his brakes coming into turn 1 and literally made a pass, but Stroll just took it right back.
Gigi's still working on the back end of Uranium now, and I have a feeling. If I'm Outlaw, I feel rather comfortable where I'm at and what's going on behind me, because unless Gigi gets around Uranium soon, I don't think he's going to have enough time.
No, I mean, they matched each other on the last lap then, and they're still dominating Stroll and Alerti, but yeah, I don't think there's enough time now. I think Uranium is actually... Oh, sorry.
I thought Gigi was about to make a move there, but he wasn't able to secure it. He lost a little bit of the car.
Oh, Crispy's round! Crispy's round again on the start finish straight. Don't know what happened, didn't fully see it, but Crispy's round, he's now dropped to 13th place.
Oh man, this is getting intense.
So Diamond Man's actually fully got ahead of Marky for that 4th place now. So Diamond Man 4th, Marky dropped down to 5th. Marky just a bit up and down. He's a bit inconsistent, I think, with these trucks as Gigi tries to dive it down the inside of the pipe off the corner. I think he might have shaken Uranium a little bit, but Uranium's got the drive, and he can now cover the inside down into the first corner as he starts the ultimate lap.
And meanwhile, this is going on. Diamond Man's starting to catch up a little bit there, guys. And can Diamond Man get in the mix of this battle as Gigi tries to give Uranium a little nudge? Wasn't enough to shake him, and he's going to have to do something spectacular here. So Uranium's doing a phenomenal job of fending off his position right now.
He has indeed. I mean, when it looked like he lost it 2 laps ago at this point, he stuck his nose down the inside of these next 2 right-handers and said, I'm still here. I'm not... Oh, GG going sideways. Sorry, he was having absolutely none of it. He doesn't care who's behind him. He's going to maintain the position, and he's done a phenomenal job.
And there's Diamond Man and Marky. They've caught back up to the pack, or to the front group here. And Diamond Man's going to try to do a little bit of pressure on GG Racing. Marky's just trying to get back into the mix of things as Outlaw's coming over the start-finish line here in a moment. White flag this time. SSR Outlaw did a lot of fighting in race 2 to be where he's at. And the opportunities for him to stay out front have been just right there. But there's a battle still way in the back between 9th and 10th and 11th. As it looks like Amoeba is in the mix of a Carnage, or actually in the middle, the tail end is Ink's in the mix too with BDF 48 Gaming. I do apologize, wrong group of cars. I don't know why it was telling me that. Starlord's in the mix too. We got a 4 or 5 car battle here, guys.
We got a 4-car battle for P2. We got a 4-car battle for P7. As Outlaw is just loving this. He's got less than half a lap to go to claim his 2nd win of the season. Can GG do anything about Uranium? He doesn't look like he's close enough, and Uranium's doing a great... Oh, GG's outbroke himself slightly. As Diamond Man going to run to the hotel section, he's right on his rear bumper.
So here he comes around the final 2 turns. SSR Outlaw back in racing action. Not the best race 1, but race number 2 in his favor. Outlaw will come across the stripe and win race number 2 here at Yaz Arena. Meanwhile, Uranium holding off GG Racing, and he will do just that. Uranium 2nd, 3rd GG Racing 4th, Diamond 2014, and Marky rounding out that top 5. Numi all by himself as he's going to finish 6th. The 7th place battle is still on between BDF 48 Gaming, who started last in this race, guys, as he's going to fend off and hold off against SSR Starlord for that 7th spot. And then SSR Inc. right behind them with Amoeba, as those guys will finish 9th and 10th. Amoeba able to stay in the top 10. That was important for him. Here comes Stroll staying in front of LMP Crispy, as he'll finish 11th. Crispy will finish 12th. And then Alerty will finish 13th. And then rounding out the field, guys, Sensei Renee in the 14th spot. Stay tuned. Post-race interviews coming up next. What a race, guys. What a race, guys. What can we take from race 2 from race 1?
Completely and utterly different compared to the first. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were a few battles in the first race, but that was nothing in comparison to what we just witnessed then. We just witnessed some... Well, how should we put it? Some great driving, some perhaps questionable driving, but on the whole, a very entertaining race.
I wouldn't say any of that was questionable. The way that these trucks drive, the way that these trucks actually race in real life, that's really what that's really what you look at when you look at these types of trucks. And what a race, guys. We're going to get GG Racing in here. We're going to get SSR Outlaw in here. We're going to talk to both race winners, and then we'll leave from here on out, as GG is on his thing, but he probably knows because he's watching the stream. And we'll get Outlaw in here as well to talk to them about their final results. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Outlaw winning race number 2, GG Racing, race 1 winner, almost able to get back in to the top spot, but just had to deal with Uranium in those last remaining laps. Cut him back. So here we go, in SSR Outlaw and Yami and GG Racing. Please put on your party audio, and everyone else, please keep it down to a minimum. We're going to start with SSR Outlaw here, as he was race 2 winner, and Outlaw race 1 not go your way. Obviously went back a ways, had to fight back up to the field to get back into the top 10. You got yourself there. You got as far up as, I believe, what, 6th or 7th. And then a race number 2, it kind of turned around for you. You had into a little battle with a couple of your teammates, and then obviously they kept with you for the longest time. At the end there, they pretty much were battling so much you were able to get away from the pack, and obviously Uranium was able to hold off GG for the last handful of laps to make sure that not only he could get past to possibly chase you down, but obviously secured your win. And how difficult was it for you this week?
Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous. In race 1, coming out of turn 3 on the first lap, the front end came off the ground and the truck just went straight. and that was a great way to start the day. And then I couldn't have won this without Uranium sitting there battling with GG those last like 5 laps. There's no way I would have won that.
And you know, Uranium, you and Markey were doing some battling for the longest time, and obviously Markey was out to a really nice lead to start the race in race 2. You guys obviously caught up to him. How difficult was it for you to get into the top spot, and then not only that, but hold off Markey and Uranium before the ending of the race?
Oh, just battling with anybody on these trucks on this track is a pain. Getting around Markey was one of the more difficult passes I had to make. We all know Markey's a solid driver, so he is not an easy battle. And then Uranium just sitting there on our bumpers the whole time made it that much more interesting.
And, you know, obviously last week, you know, you couldn't be with us. And, you know, it's great to see you back in racing action. Going into the final week, Outlaw, and I know that the week 1 and week 2 have, you know, gone your way. Week 3 kind of went the same way. What are you looking forward to most? And what are you expecting to do going into the final week?
After missing a week, I'm just looking for some good battles and a good race.
Congratulations, Outlaw, on your race to win here today at Yas Marina, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And moving to the man and the points right now, SQD GG Racing. I'm sorry, Yami.
I have a question for Outlaw.
Go ahead. We'll get to GG in a minute.
Oh, and he left. Oh, never mind that.
Well, we'll get back. We'll see if
He
we can
didn't want to
get
get
back
asked
in
the
here.
question.
Let's see if we can get back in here. And, you know, let's see. Put your audio back on. You got another question? All right, go ahead, Yami.
All right, so this question is referring more to the second race. Once you gained the lead, what was going through your mind? What was your plan of attack to maintain that lead and bring home a win?
Oh, you just got to run as far as you can before GG makes it through the pack. Because once he's got open air, there is no stopping that man. So I know he was battling with Diamond Man when I got up front, and I just had to take advantage of it as much as I could.
Any other questions for Outlaw? All right. Go ahead,
How much
Bones.
are you going to give Uranium a big thank you?
Say again?
How much are you going to give Uranium a big thank you
Oh,
for holding
I'm going
up
to have to
GG?
PayPal him some money for sure.
Well, congratulations, Outlaw, once again. I'm sorry I wasn't sure these guys were going to ask you a question or not, but congratulations on the race win. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
All right, now we'll move to GG Racing, the points leader, race 1 winner, and almost be able to, again, GG, it just seems like every week you're showing how strong you are in these trucks. And you know, race 2s haven't gone your way completely. You've had to fight through fields last week, this week, and obviously week 1, it took you a while to get through the field. And then obviously in this race, you were in that pack of like 8 cars, and you were in the midst of 3, 4, 5 wide, and it never seemed to end. And how hard was it for you to get through that pack, to get yourself to not only get back through the pack, but get inside the top 5 and give yourself an opportunity to possibly get to Outlaw at the end?
It was a struggle. When I noticed I was like top 5, look at the what lap I was in, it was like, okay. Then I decided to like tell all SSR drivers like, okay, you guys said SSR in the top 3. Just to let you guys know, I'm in 5th position. You might want to run. But I am so, and then Marky just like did not defend me very well. I was like, oh well, bye Marky. Then I was like, okay, 1 SSR down, 2 more to go.
And obviously at the end there, Uranium and you were battling for that second spot, and how tough was it to deal with him, and you know, obviously not able to get around it, but you know, what was your strategy to try to get around Uranium with only a few laps to go?
He was so defensive. I was chatting with him when you guys were interviewing with Outlaw, and it was like, oh my. He was asking me when you say, did I do much defense? I was like, yeah, you did. So I was struggling trying to pass him. So he's like so defensive, like every single inside. I know he told me that he was already braking because he was so scared of me for some reason. so that really like helped him. But I was also worried about the driver who was behind me. I think that was Diamond. I think that was behind me. So I had to defend him as well. So it's like, yeah, whatever. I'm top 3. I don't care. Let's just defense the 4th place driver.
And, well, congratulations again on Race 1 win, and obviously to fight your way through the field in Race 2, GG. It's been nothing but a phenomenal season for you. Pretty much you wrapped up the championship at this point, but obviously there is one race to go, and things can happen, and things could not go as planned. What is your plan going into next week? And not only that, but pretty much you are in the driver's seat of winning the title. What do you have to do to maintain it?
Just if I'm actually like good points, or like if I win again, I'm already a champion. So I'm just gonna like, you know what? I'm just gonna like take it easy in Race 2. I don't care what position I'm gonna start in or what position I'm gonna be finishing in. Not start, but yeah, we'll see what really happens in Race 1 and what good qualify time I get, because I'm about to start doing that right now.
And for everyone at home and Yami and Bob, do you guys have any more questions for GG Racing?
Just a simple one from me, obviously, GG. Obviously, you've been the standout driver in this Trophy Truck Series. Obviously, you've had at least a podium finish every race. I think, actually, if I'm right, you've come 1st and 3rd at every single race. You might have been 2nd last week, I'm not entirely sure. But you've come at least 1st and 3rd, I believe. So obviously you've been very consistent, you've been very quick as well. Do you think you're going to have any difficulties next week, obviously, to wrap up the championship? Because obviously it seems like you are going to. Or do you think if you just, keep as you're going, you should be fine?
Once I know the points for sure, I'll just make a decision, like, do I really want to like, send it? But because I know these guys are, like, slower than me, but I know these guys are going to work hard for this final round with these points. They don't care about first. They're probably going to focus on 2nd position, so they're going to push hard. So I'm probably going to push hard too, but I'm also might going to take some time. Like I did in Race 1, I was like, Race 2, I was taking my time, watch people mistakes, do whatever these guys are going to do. I'm probably going to do the same thing in Race 1 and Race 2. Depends on the points. I might get an easy championship. You never know.
And any questions for you, Yami?
Yeah, just one. GG, if you had managed to get past 2nd place with only about 3 or 4 laps left to go, do you think you would have been able to catch up and make a pass on Outlaw to take the pole position?
Well, okay, so right when I got to that 2nd place driver, I was about like 3 seconds away from him. So it's like, okay, I really need to like find a way to pass him, but he was so defensive. It was like, then right where I was like pushing so hard, he was Outlaw was pulling away so much. It was like, there's no point just going to 1st anyway. I'm gonna try to keep going 2nd, but there's no way I'm gonna get it to 2nd if he's gonna be doing more defensive like that. So, but yeah, it is what it is. At least I'll finish top 3. That's all I care about.
Well, congratulations, GG, on another solid week. We're going to see you next week to see if you can seal the deal, but congratulations once again.
Yep, see you guys.
And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, and Bobberts, Yami. It was a really, really wild race number 2. Obviously, race 1 wasn't as eventful as race 2 for sure. Going into the final week, and I do not have the calendar in front of me. I don't know if you guys know what the final race is.
Right up to West Alternate.
What are we looking for going into next week, guys? I mean, we've seen the tightness of the tracks. I think going into next week, it's going to be a little bit more. I think it's going to be more wider for these guys than it has been the last couple of weeks. Would you think?
I think Yas Marina's got the widest circuits of the ones that we've been to. I mean, I think we're gonna. It's not obviously it's nowhere near as tight as Long Beach is. There's no denying that. But I'm expecting some 2-3 wide action. Obviously, see some good action, hopefully, and we'll be able to crown a champion.
And what about you, Yami? Do you see any difference in what we've seen in the last 3 weeks going into the final week? Do you think there might be anything that we might see differently going into Road Atlanta? Or America, I'm sorry. And I think Yami's gone. So, that being said, we are going to wish everybody a great night. We thank you all for watching here week number 3 of the MEA Trophy Truck Challenge. I'm SSR Mayhem, and I want to say thank you to my co-commentators, SSR Yami and SSR Bobberts, as we wish you all a farewell. Week 3 winners, I do apologize, SQD GG Racing and SSR Outlaw, as we go into the championship round next week. Have a great night, everyone.